OT baby, thank you for joining us. Send us your questions, send us your criticisms of anyone on the couch that you disagree. No, I'm just joking. Let us know what you thought about today's show, because it was a lively one and a fun one. Always good to have you guys. So.
Travel ban, Muslims. I actually disagree with both of you on the travel ban. So I think a country has every right to declare their own immigration policy, regardless of what other people think, number one. But number two, I think we should have more welcoming immigration here, because the travel ban doesn't do anything to address the terrorists in places like Belgium and the UK and France.
No, I agree. I just think that, like, my problem with the Trump EO is that I would rather see him go to Congress and work with them to come up with some real solution.
And by the way, like saying it's a
Muslim
Muslim
ban. The president has plenary power to control who comes into this country. It's constitutional.
So we're fighting this travel ban, but it would have ended 2 months ago, right? Like, I really do feel as though the best thing for this White House is to be like, listen, just forget it. It was a 90-day ban. 90 days are now gone. Moving on.
Guys, figure this out. Yeah. I know we're not supposed to use the term guys anymore, because
we're not.
No, it's
human beings.
Sensitivity training.
People figure this out.
Yeah, people. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead and figure this out. And they've had plenty of time to say, well, what is extreme vetting? What does it look like? What could we do to streamline some of the processes to make sure? And actually, there was a very interesting Nat Geo special starring Sebastian Junger.
I heard about
and
this.
It's all about the refugees in Syria, and these are not terrorists, and they're also not peasants. You know, these are middle-class working families who are being completely displaced, and it's heartbreaking, but it's a really important story. And it just goes to show, like, it's not that there's no vetting process and they don't have passport agencies there. It's just terrorists are really good at
and it's a 2-year process.
Falsifying documents.
So that is a huge problem, though, because now we're seeing it spread everywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk to people in the Philippines, for example, where they're saying now ISIS has moved into a lot of territory. It's the same sort of situation. And you have people, you know, if you know anyone there, you're like, get out, get out, get out. Total compassion for these people. At the same time, the terrorists know this is a golden opportunity, and they're following the same plan where they enter an area like the Philippines in order to create chaos and move people and follow them to other spots.
Oh my God, I just came up with the best idea.
Problem.
What?
If I really wanted to upset my neighbor, I could just have a bunch of Syrian refugees move into my house.
So it would really upset.
No, but we've seen from the past nobody complains, so don't worry about it. You know.
Let me share a couple of viewer comments. Grammy4 says Mr. Fowler has met his match with Kennedy on the right and the judge on the left. Loved it. Thank you for writing in Grammy4. Wade Payne says Judge Jeanine for President 2020 got my vote.
I like that. Thanks, Wade.
Would you ever run again?
Not.
Would you ever run for office again?
I ran for office 5 times.
Yeah.
And I have the scars to prove it.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Yeah. No, it looks really painful.
I'm cooked.
A lot of love for Judge Jeanine on here. My goodness, we love Judge Jeanine. Send us in some questions. The comments are good. Substantive questions we need. Okay, so I'll throw in a question here.
Okay.
So we're talking about this idea of trying to get anything passed at the same time. And I agree with your point that, you know, Republicans, if they could get together, could do it all by themselves. What's interesting to me about that is Republicans by nature are independent minded. I mean, this is a group of people who want to don't grow together in a group naturally. I mean, that's like the left, that's socialism, that's we're going to band together. You know, on the right, you're independent, you're freedom loving. So it seems like
on the right are.
Well,
I
actually think the Republican Party, I'm not a Republican, but I think the Republican Party has changed over time. Because the Republican Party mantra used to be, we fall in line, not in love, and we vote lockstep with the president.
When was that?
There was, during the Bush administration, it was like, president puts the thing on the floor.
I didn't hear that one either, but whatever.
No, I mean, the Patriot Act dropped, and a minute later it was passed. I mean, so, I mean,
that was also a different time.
No, that's my point.
Yeah,
but I think after the creation of the Tea Party, there was a splintering in the Republican Party, and that's where we are now. We have the Tuesday group, which are moderate Republicans.
Yeah, and the caucus.
Right? And then you have the Freedom Caucus, and they just are on opposing sides.
But it's the exact same thing that's happening in the Democratic Party with people like Tim Ryan versus Bernie Sanders.
True.
I think so the Bernie Sanders
the Democratic Party.
But here's the thing.
The progressives will never fall in line. They love the chaos. They love being marginalized. It only helps amplify their message. They absolutely do.
And you know what?
It makes them more powerful. They get more attention.
It is to their detriment. As they go further and further left, it's to their detriment. detriment. You've got socialists, you've got people who are progressives, you've got the old line Democrats. I mean, who knows? You know what? Maybe ultimately the two parties are going to, it's got to change.
So,
it does.
So let me ask this question. It seems like then, based on what you're saying and what we saw, that the last election came down to really strong personalities that inspired people, as opposed to anybody who's trying to be centrist. If you look at
who think Hillary inspired anyone?
No, that's why she didn't win.
I think it was personality-driven populism.
Yes.
But, and I don't think there's a place for that. Especially, I mean, if you look what happened in the UK, Theresa May is a boring centrist, and I don't think anyone like that.
So I think boring centrists are done. Don't you think it's about personalities?
For now, but then the pendulum always swings. Right now, it's about populism and someone who can deliver a message because people are sick of parties.
And they're suffering.
If someone can say, exactly. Yeah. If someone can say, Bill Clinton understood that as well. He was the only person in her inner circle who said, you are marginalizing white working class voters. It is going to be very problematic.
But I think it's beyond her marginalizing white working class voters. I think Hillary Clinton also had problems. She was going after black and brown voters. She didn't get the same numbers Obama did because she really didn't have a message for them as well. So I think, I mean, I've been one to openly say I think her campaign lacked message. I think with that being said, I think where Donald Trump is, yes, he won the election, right? Yes, he won the Electoral College. I think what he's got to do now is stop talking to the 40% of the people that voted for him and talk to the rest of the country. And that's what he's not doing very well.
While they're hanging his head and trying killing him.
I actually think that there are some people in the middle who are like, just give us something. And he's not doing that.
But so I said it wrong. I think what it's about is personality rather than politics. That we've gotten to a time where people are inspired by personalities and they're not necessarily inspired by the policy beneath them. And that the left needs to come up with a personality. And Bernie Sanders was one.
Yeah, but that's why reality shows work now. Yeah. People want to watch people who, you know, they can't believe, and they're attracted to celebrities. They're attracted to this kind of celebrity television now, and I think the same in politics.
I actually think that the most successful thing about this president is going to be his ideas. I think his personality gets in the way. I really do. I think there's a lot left to be desired with the president's personality, but I think when you look and when he actually drills down on these messages, there are things that could have a great deal of economic and political success. And you know, and if he would get out of the way and let those ideas lead, I can only imagine what. By the way, in North Korea and his trip to Saudi Arabia and his trip to Israel, you look at this and you say to yourself, you know what? This person is an outside-of-the-box thinker. He can be annoying and blustery, but he actually might be the one person on earth to craft Middle East peace. It's just crazy enough to work.
I don't agree all the way with that, but I do sort of agree in the sense that I think the president, the number one problem he has is he's playing the World Series and he has a JV bench, right? I think his staff have served him horribly, right? Because they can't.
Communication staff?
Yeah, I think his communication staff served him horribly.
Well, I was going to say, would you say that about his national security team?
No, I'm talking about the people the White House staff, outside of the Secretary of Defense and Secretary of Homeland Security, like just coordinating a message. Who's running the chessboard here?
Communication.
There seems to be nobody. There seems to be nobody at the If there's beyond communication, because communication is about dictating a strategy. This White House seems strategyless, in my opinion.
Well, but
it goes in different weeks, it's different things.
You know what? Every new administration suffers some kind of a, getting to know the job period. And when you've got a complete outsider, it's going to be even worse. I mean, Bill Clinton's first 6 months, first year was all chaos, period.
Yes, it was.
People dying.
And healthcare failed. No, he actually had a lot of, he had a very ambitious agenda, and that's why he got hammered in the 94 midterms.
Right.
And I think the distinction, I think what you saw, whether you liked Barack Obama's policies or not, in his first year, he was actually rather successful at getting a lot of his things done because the White House, the only mistake they did make, and hopefully I think Donald Trump looks going to make the same mistake, is they went to August recess without a health care bill passed.
Yeah. I want to see.
I do believe, and my thinking on this is this: there's 26 legislative days left. Period. Yeah. If Donald Trump allows the House and Senate to go on recess for a month without passing a health care bill and signing it,
I agree.
It's
okay, but the Freedom Caucus has said we should not take a big recess. They have said we need to stay here and work.
No, I agree, but they're going to take a big recess.
They ought to work on agreeing with their Tuesday group.
Thank you.
Know?
We agree.
We do. We should
good way to end.
Now.
Aren't we going home?
Well, I think we need music.
We have like 20 more seconds. Why don't you 21 seconds? Richard.
All right. You can read a few more comments to us.
Yeah, read some comments.
What are people saying?
Yeah, no, actually, I can't. I can't, Melissa. Thank you.
Can you do the what to Chuck again?
What the Chuck?
Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
I like that.
That was our 10 seconds right there.
This was like, yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. Seriously, that was good to have you, and good to have you as well, Judge.
Thank you.
And Kennedy and Melissa.
Thank you. Yeah, that was fun.
Join us together tomorrow on the TV version, noon Eastern. Thank you.